Hello everyone, I'm Zhongzhe Huang, and my GitHub ID is ZZ780. And today I'm going to share some aelf ecological tools, including SDK and some fundamental DApps. And I will mainly talk about 4 aelf ecological tools and 3 JS SDK, 2 DeFi and 1 FT DApp. But we will only have a short brief of the DApps. Now, we will talk about 4 demos, and 4 demos will be step by step, and this will help you build your own decentralized DApp, which is built on aelf. And then I will follow these steps on the menu, 4 tools and 3 JSDK, and how to use DS SDK. How does DApp interact with Blockchain Explorer? How does DApp interact with wallet? And at last, we will have a brief of 2 applications. At first, let me introduce ecological tools of aelf. I will first introduce our Explorer. The Explorer is one of our basic application, and now we can use the Explorer, including some trading data. I'm going to share it here. We can see that the status of the whole web, including the transaction per minute and our block height, including overall transaction amounts and our overall address user online, and the status of our sidechain. And we have the management of aelf ecosystem, and we can do the voting system. You can apply for the nodes for aelf in the voting system. At the same time, we can vote for other nodes. And we also have a resource trading page. In this page, we can trade our resource tokens. If the application is very busy, we can trade resources on aelf. Then we use it as we can run a sidechain on aelf. In this way, we can guarantee the stability. Also, it will also reduce our gas fee. As for the sidechain that you built for your own, the gas fee will return to the customer pocket. You only need to pay the resource token. And the trading is also easy. Input a certain number and it will calculate the amount that you need to pay automatically, and it's the same no matter you buy or sell. And for the second application, I will show you the plugin of the Explorer. You can see in the plugin, we can manage our private key and we can manage our application, including our plugins. We can match up the plugin, it will delete the information of plugins, and we can also set up a time for the logging. The plugin is a core part. It is used for protecting our assets on the chain. It is also used for connecting our blockchain account and our DApp account. Then it's a wallet application. Since the wallet application is on the App Store, it is not convenient to show it on PC. You can download the application in the App Store. And another important application is our aelf web wallet. So our web wallet is a one-stop account management system in order to keep our assets safe. And we have 2 ways of login. One way is to log in by the Explorer plugin, and the other way is to use our local caching. If we use the local caching, our private key will be encrypted. It will be encrypted by RS-256, saved in the Explorer. It is a safe way, but we recommend you to use the Explorer plugin to use our wallet. Then I will shortly introduce how to use SDK. And I will show the function of these three SDK and their other information. So the relationship between aelf SDK.js and aelf is like the relationship between Web3.js and Ethereum. And we can use aelf SDK to communicate with our nodes. Here we use the API of app and aelf SDK including a lot of details. We only need to pay attention to the environment and the method of call this function itself. As for aelf SDK cross-chain, it is actually built for the convenience of our cross-chain transaction. And if we want to start a cross-chain transaction, we will need to make a request. The amounts of blocks are huge and it's complicated, and I already packaged the basic details if we need. To make a transaction, we just need to call transaction function and receive it. And at last, we go to aelf bridge. The aelf bridge is an application and is convenient, and it can interact with the wallet application. And I made a package including its basic method of calling the function. It's the same as aelf SDK. And I will talk about how to use aelf SDK. And this part is important. And I will teach you one by one here. And we will use it step by step to use aelf SDK. Our decentralized apps in a quicker way. And at the beginning, we need to find out our dependency. Then we need to state the wallet module first, or we can use it directly. I'm used to define it at first. Then we use the create new wallet. We need to create a button. If we hit the button at this time, you can see that we created a wallet. And then we check out the developer board, and then we will have the data structure of the wallet. Here we have the path of M144, following with our private key and address. We have all of them. If we want to recover the account through the private key, mnemonic, then we can use the get blockchain. by private key, or that get private key to get wallet by private key, or by mnemonic. Let's have a tryout here. We have it here. You can see that we recovered the address of the wallet. In this way, like that we created before. Now we know how to recover the wallet. Then I will show that how to get the data from our blocks by aelf SDK. At first, we need to create an aelf example. Then we are going to set it. We are going to set a provider. Here we mainly use the nodes of the testnet. Then we can call our function. I will also create one. You can see that now we get a situation of one block from the whole chain, including this chain. The chain is the main chain of aelf, and it's the longest and the highest one. It reaches 89 million, and like we can't be reblock. The one is that can't be reblock. It has nearly the same height with the main chain. And if we want to get the result of the transaction, we can directly use aelf chain tx. And this is the method. We can upload the ID. I can upload an invalid ID. If we need an ID, it will be recursive. And next important topic is that how to call the contract by using aelf SDK. Here, I will use a general token contract to be the example. At first, I will show create several buttons here. First, we need to do is that we will transfer the token contract. And just paste it here in order to not waste the time. And this address belongs to our testnet. The address of our token the wallet, create the wallet. And now we can see that we transfer the whole token contract. We can get the structure of the token contract, including methods like create token, issue token, and transfer token, including authorization of a group and some methods. And we will talk about how to call the token contract. Now there are two ways of calling the aelf function. One is to write a method to start the transaction, and this method will be saved on the chain. The other way is to read. So about the reading method, it is used for checking the contract and check some data from the chain. The whole operation won't be on-chain. I will show you here how to adjust these two methods. First of all, if we want to use the reading method, we need to use a keyword. But we don't need to do it if we use the writing method, such as get balance. And this is the reading method. And then if we need to use this method, we will need to use token contract and the get balance, these methods. I will show you how to use it. Okay. Next, I will show you how to use the reading method, such as get balance. It is one of the reading method. And if I need to use this method, then we need to use token contract and get balance core. I will also create an easy demo here. That balance. Then we need to upload two parameters. One is symbol, and if we want to search for aelf, and the other one is owner. We initialize it here. And now, from get balance, we can see that the token balance. And you can see that there are ELF in this amount in the address. And if we want to use the writing method, like the transfer method, we can just use it directly. And we don't need keyword like core. The same, we need to do it one by one. And this is the address that we want to transfer, like this kind of arrangement. The amount that we want to transfer, and we can add it here. And if we do the transaction now, then we will get a transaction ID. And this transaction will be failed, of course, since this is a randomly created wallet. There is no enough ELF as gas fee. Then, if you want to know more about using method and the contents of ELF SDK, then we can go to the exact Git store. Also, the link to our code sandbox will be shown in the slides. And then now I will shortly talk about how to use our ELF SDK cross-chain function. ELF cross-chain SDK, because if you use ELF SDK to do the cross-chain, it needs to check the block status. Once and once again, it's not efficient, and it's not friendly to users. And the ELF SDK cross-chain aims at simplifying the process. We only need 4 steps. The first step is build an example that initialize 2 chains of ELF. And the second step is create and step a chain of ELF. And the third step is start a cross-chain transaction and then wait until our chain leads to the exact transaction. We can just receive this transaction on the other chain. And as for this part, I will just show you the demo. Here we transfer ELF from chain A to chain B. We have the example statement of chain A and the example statement of chain B, including the contract of token A and our cross-chain contract. The first step is initialize the cross-chain example. And the second step is to initialize its cross-chain function. Upload some key parameters like our contract address of token A, and we find the address of chain B, and link it to chain B. Now we already initialized the chain successfully. And then we can just call the send method. And these three methods are easy. It's the same as we use the aelf SDK function, the traditional method, the address of token, also the symbol, and the remainder of it. And in few seconds, we'll get the ID of cross-chain transaction. While at this time, we need to wait for the other chain. Leads the chain that starts the transaction. We need to wait about 1 to 2 minutes. And in our example account, there is no aelf in it, so the transaction will be failed. But if we find a wallet with aelf, it will succeed. Then I will shortly talk about how will DApp interact with a blockchain explorer. And I also upload this demo to our code sandbox. Because in code sandbox, we can't connect it with plugins directly through the code sandbox. In this way, we probably need to download the demo and test it in your local environment. And if we want to connect the plugin in the local environment, then we need to do it in the developers mode of Google Chrome, or there will be some problems. If you have your own domain name, it also works. Then probably we have 4 steps. First of all, we need to make sure that we already install and log into the plugin. Then we need to connect it with the chain. Next, we need to initialize the contract, find the API, and the last step is to call the contract directly. And about the development, this method of calling is very similar to aelf SDK. But there are some small differences. As I said before, we need to make sure that if we already installed, if you don't install the plugin, you need to remind the users download it in plugin market. At the same time, we also need to check the version of plugin. And in the demo, I created a button called Get Version. And if you you can check it because our plugin is always upgrading. Maybe some old function we can't use it. And at this time, the version of the plugin is an old one. Then we probably need to do a compatibility to remind the user to update plugin. And in this demo, I actually write a token transaction demo. And you can find a link of it in the slides and download it. And you can click on the button to open the developer board of Google Chrome. You will see the process of calling, including the output. You will find that the method of calling the plugin is the same as we calling aelf SDK. To develop the app according to plugin is very easy here. Well, at last, I want to talk about how will the app interact with the wallet app. Interact with wallet app also needs 3 steps. The first one is that initialize the bridge example. And after the initialization, we need to connect the app with the wallet. And we will finally find it is the same as aelf SDK. Just request a block API or a contract API. And here is we have the demo. At last, I will shortly introduce Awaken Swap and the NFT forest because we care for projects since we are developers. Once they are launched, we can swap on it. And as now we have a decentralized exchange on aelf. The decentralized exchange is called Awaken Swap. And now the project has already launched on our testnet. And I will show you. And as for the project, it is if it support ELF, and then they can come to make transaction on Awaken and add the trading pairs. And after the trading pairs are added, then we can just trade, and it will provide a liquidity for our token, or do the distribution, or create a pool. Also, we have some NFT bit developers, including some GameFi developers, and we always think about the NFT track. And in last round of our hackathon, there's a project called NFT Forest, and we can create a set of NFT on NFT platform and create more NFTs for the exact NFT set. And we can swap or trade NFTs on this platform. Thank you.